Hey everyone, just a quick video to show you how to keep your data intact using basically drop down lists, and this will save you if you're embarking on a spreadsheet that's going to be coming to a fairly large size, or you can foresee it being, but it's always try to get into a habit of, if you can do this from the start, try and do it. If not, there's always ways you can get around it. But what I'll do is I'll just show on how I keep my data as accurate as possible, and trying to minimise any form of oddities coming through. Now, if I was to, I've got obviously four products here: pen, pencil, ruler, eraser, etc. And that's quite easy. I mean, if anyone can quite happily go through and add in products like so, that's fine. But it's I'm just proving the point there. It comes to the point where there's always going to be human error. For example, if I was to put in rule instead of ruler, whilst your mind will actually make the adjustment, think, oh, okay, that's what I meant by that. It's one and the same thing, albeit someone's made a spelling mistake. Or if we go into eraser and we put two R's in there, when it comes around to doing any form of reporting, and if I just do a quick one of my previous videos using the count if function, if you then start playing around with the data, you then start getting problems. So here, whilst we've got no pencils, which is fine, we've got two pens, that is fine, we've got one ruler and one eraser, but actually should we have two rulers and two erasers? Now, this is where I truly believe that if we can get away with using lists in the entirety and using the drop downs, it actually makes your data better going forward. Now, there's an easy way to do this, and this is by far the best way. Generally, I have another sheet. This one's blank at the moment, but what I'll do is I'll keep it on here so you can see what I'm going to be doing is. But generally, what I do is I use the named range function within Excel, and this allows you to select a range, which is for these four items at the moment, to effectively call it something. Now, I generally try to keep the named range under the column title that would be. So in this example, it would be products. So what we'll do is I'll call it products, and there we go. So at the moment, what I've got is I've got a list that I can call from, and you see if I highlight them all, it comes up with products. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these out. Obviously, it resets everything back to 0, and this is where I'm going to start adding the list itself. So all you do is you go into data validation, and then you come into the settings, and it's the simple one really. All I need to do is go down to where it says list, select that, and it comes up here and it says source. Now, this is the best thing if you're keeping it all intact. I'm trying to get it somewhere where you can see it all, is because I've called it products, it becomes then intuitive what list that we want for that. So I want the list of products, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, I want, help if I could spell, products, click on OK, and let's apply it to 10 for example. Okay, so now what I've got is I've got pens, so I can add these in as and when I want to, with no real fear, apart from ultimately selecting the wrong one by error that way. But you then start minimising the human error of putting the word eraser in spelled correctly, or ruler, etc, etc. However, the other side of this is quite good. Is, for example, I then think, oh great, I've got to stick something else in now. Well, I've missed off paper. Okay, so with that, obviously I've just pulled it down a bit too far. So I want to add paper, but then what a lot of people must think is, oh, okay, I've got to go through all these and I've got to add paper on, or I've got, it's going to be messy. It hasn't. And a quick, easy function to do is if you press Control and F3, brings up the criteria for your named ranges. Now if we see in here, it's only got one in here for the time being, but you can have a list. I mean, I've got lists that go on for ages now, but generally what you need to do is, where it says refer to, all you need to do is just highlight it, and what that will then do is highlight the range that you've got. Oops. Take that out, add the next row up, because I always find that I add at the bottom. You can go into the realms if you want to, which is not actually all that difficult, and I'll show you after this. Is you click on close, it'll come up with a message, click on yes. Now what we've got is paper. Now to keep everything true and alphabetical orders, if you then sort this, if I go to, where's my data sort? Oh, there we go. Now I just want to sort that as it stands. So what that will do is that will then put it into order, but magically it also then puts the list into order. So that's a good way of actually keeping everything in a nice data flow. It all stays consistent, and you will run into, well, you won't ultimately get rid of all errors, but you start to minimise the errors that can actually slip into Excel, and then hopefully your reporting will get better and stronger as time goes on, when you start putting in these little techniques to help you along. Well, that's got to be a shorter video than most of mine, but hopefully that'll help you in the long run. Okay, many thanks.